Hello, everybody. Keith Henry here at the PC, and I am with Coach Reed, the head coach of Coppin State University baseball. Well, you know, Coach, another season. Time has flown by, and we're about to start in another week or so. You all head to Savannah State to get the party started, Coach. Of course, with getting things started, we gotta learn from the past. And last season, Coach, you all won the Northern Division, and you all went to the tournament and went pretty far. I know not as far as y'all won, obviously, but Coach, it's a whole new animal this year because you all have been picked first in a lot of publications to win the MEAC. Not only win the North, but to win the whole thing, go to the NCAA regionals, Coach. And
exciting times, Keith, for sure. The team, I think last year we took a real huge leap, and I still can recall that very first practice when we expressed to the guys our true feeling as a coaching staff that when we looked at on paper, and most coaches play around with potential lineups, and they look at the competition, and we had dissected our competition pretty well, actually. And when we came to conclude at the end, after looking at our roster on paper, we thought that we were a pretty good team in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, and it just came down to having the guys believe that we were talented, because remember, year prior we missed the MEAC Conference championship. We didn't even qualify for the tournament. So trying to get these guys to believe that they were indeed as talented as the coaching staff had concluded was sometimes a challenge last season.
And Coach, what was the feeling of having to go that far and win the Northern Division, which I guess some thought was near impossible, except for of course, with the exception of the guys in house here.
Yeah, we talked about the first meeting we had with the guys last year. We talked about winning championships, guys. This has got to now become a part of the norm, that we are competing to win championships. So we threw it out there to the guys, what immediate championship can we win? And a lot of guys said, we can win the MEAC championship, Coach, and go to the regionals. I said, no, the first immediate opportunity for a championship is to win your division. And so we started really focusing on playing real well in the regular season, and that was our goal, to win the Northern Division, get a bye, and go into the MEAC championships with a chance to advance to the finals.
And Coach, just talk about these guys coming in that came in and accomplished the feat, and what can they bring? What else can they bring this year? How they can be an example for the younger guys that are coming in right now.
The returning guys last year, as I mentioned, the guys, when they reflect on last season, we started off, Keith, 1-11, and as talented as we were 1-11. And the coaching staff, the players continued to believe that they were better than that record. And then we went on a cliff, probably a 700 winning percentage clip the remainder of the season, and rolled our way into the conference championship. And with the returning guys now, after having to feel the pain of that extra inning loss, tough loss to a very good Bethune-Cookman team, the guys came back refocused, and their whole goal was to finish what we did not finish last year in Daytona Beach. So they've done a real good job welcoming in the new class. The new class is really talented. We really bring back, for the exception of Delvin, a relief pitcher, Delvin McFadden, and losing two really good corner outfielders in Andre Santana and Caleb Duhay. We really bring back the entire ball club, particularly the pitching. So with the success that we had with our pitching rotation, we thought we had a strong three-man pitching rotation and a strong guy in Corey Treyas to close things out. And now with some of the guys that we've brought in to help us with that, what Coach Greeley often talks about the pitching coach, the bridge innings, that inning that can get us from that starter to the conference best closer, in my opinion, Corey Treyas. And we've done that with some of the arms that have come in, and with the great development of a sophomore in Bradley Tuttle and a senior, Devin Ozuna, who we feel will have a huge senior season. So everything's really lined well for us, but now we just got to go out there between the lines and get the job done now.
Coach, talk about the challenges with your new non-conference schedule, and how that will help you all with once the conference season.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, because I know we opened up down Savannah. With Savannah, it'll be a MEAC contest, but it'll be an out-of-conference contest because they're out of the South. But we have to go down to UNC Charlotte early in the season, and they're projected to be a really good team. In fact, I opened my career as a coach back in 2011. My opening college weekend was with UNC Charlotte and Coach Hibbs. So it's going to be a memorable series from that standpoint, getting a chance to go back down to play Charlotte. But that's going to be a test for us. We got Albany has not been on our schedule before. Albany's going to come down into Baltimore to play us early. The schedule is, we've got some early open dates in our schedule that should help us be able to ramp up our eventual pitchers, starting pitchers, that we're going to hope that can stretch them early to their 80-plus pitches. But with some of the open dates in our schedule early, it should do well, particularly with the young pitchers that we're bringing in as well. So, like I said, we're pretty strong from top to bottom. Right now, if there was one area on the team that we're going to sooner than later determine how we're going to fare in that area, and that is catching, because we lost a really good 2-year junior college transfer catcher in Brett Helmbrecht, but now we've got 2 really capable sophomores. Cole Garula, who knows what Coppin State University baseball is about. He's been with us going into his 3rd year. He redshirted last year because of an injury. And then we have Connor Walker, who's come in from Washington State, that has demonstrated some really good tools himself. So from that standpoint, excuse me, we feel like the catching is one area that is going to be really competitive, but we feel that we got 2 highly capable guys that can carry their own back there behind the dish as a catcher.
Coach, among the new guys that are in, who has impressed you the most? Who has opened your eyes at this point, and why?
I think offensively, because we were really strong offensively, we led in conference in hitting. So Coach Watkins we have a very potent offensive team, and as I mentioned, we have most of them back, for the exception of 2 outfielders, and bringing in a guy like Justin Banks, who has proven, has had a real good career at Napa Valley on the West Coast. A first base DH that swings them really well. Some of the things that he did in the fall just opened some eyes with the potential, and the sky's the limit for Justin Banks. And then Connor Walker, the catcher that I talked about as well, has a real good idea of hitting, does a real good job of knowing the strike zone and going off field. So I think the 2 guys on the offensive side, besides the freshman Matt Day, who's come in with 5 tools, he can do almost anything on the field. Really did a real good job with the bat. I think he led the team in hitting this fall. If Matt Day didn't lead the team in hitting, he was second. I think Marcos Castillo actually led the team in hitting, but the true freshman, Matt Day, with some of the plays he's made in the outfield, he's really a Gold Glove type defensive outfielder coming in, that because of the accomplishments of young sophomore Carlos Castillo, he's going to play left. as a true center fielder, so it just gives us a lot of depth in the outfield and guys that can go catch the ball. But I think Matt Day has opened some eyes as a first-year guy as well. And then defensively, you know, you can never have enough depth up the middle defensively. And the young first-year guy, freshman from Florida, Nicholas Martinez, has really opened our eyes from the defensive side. And then you've got pitchers like Jonathan Rice, Matt Irvin. Those guys just add to the mix of an already veteran, strong pitching staff.
Coach, I'm going back to the seniors again. Talk about those guys and how much of an effect they had on you as a coach.
They're now seniors, and we call those guys. Last year, I was calling those guys the super juniors. Those are the guys that came into the program on a mission to to assist us in turning things around, and that is Aaron Ray, Jamon Taylor, Rivera. That's Devin Rivera, Ozuna. Redfern, who came to us as a junior college junior right-hander last year. McElwain, the steady best first baseman in our conference. Those guys came to us at a time where we were down as a program, but they believed that they could come in and make an impact. They're now all seniors, and all the accolades that we received because of last year's impressive season heading into the 2019 are all attributed to those current seniors.
Coach, and speaking of having effects on people, yesterday, I'm sure you heard about the passing of the late great Mr. Frank Robinson. Talk about him and how has he had an effect on you as a coach and as a person?
I tell you what, Frank Robinson, both Robinsons, both Brooks and Frank. I mean, I grew up in an era where those two guys really demonstrated what the Baltimore Orioles were all about. A lot of people don't realize that before Frank came to the Orioles in 1966. The Orioles were pretty good. I mean, I think they had just come off 2 prior seasons of 97, 95 wins, but somehow they couldn't overtake the Yankees, and the Red Sox always had something to say about that. So when they brought in Frank in 1966, he was evidently the missing piece because they went on to win the World Series in '66, and Frank, as a first-year guy coming in there, just commanding respect in the clubhouse. You know, Frank didn't speak a lot. He was quiet. He was serious about the game and the way he thought the game should be played, and it really rubbed off on the team. And the Orioles became a different kind of team those next 5 years that they had Frank Robinson on that roster. And it was a shock when we heard that Frank had passed, even though we knew that he was sick. What a baseball player and what a baseball administrator, because I recall his days in the Orioles front office as well as the first black manager in Cleveland. So he's going to sorely be missed in baseball for sure.
And I know you always had teaching moments with this team. I'm sure you told them about Mr. Robinson. What can the team learn from a man like
Yeah, Frank wanted the game to be played the right way. I know here at Coppin, we have a rule here at Coppin, because I recall hearing a story that Frank also had trying to set young guys straight when he was managing in Cleveland. And that is, you know, hustling, running out every play, don't assume, you know, anything in baseball, just play hard until the end. And I know here at Coppin, and I think Frank was another one that didn't agree with caps being worn backwards. And I know Ken Griffey kind of came out with that new trend, and it was cool to wear your baseball cap worn backwards. But here at Coppin, the baseball guys are not allowed to wear the caps on, never have since I've been here, been allowed to wear a baseball cap on backwards. And I always tell those guys, when they're walking around campus and we're trying to distinguish the baseball players from the non-baseball players, we can tell, because if they have a baseball cap on, they're going to always have the baseball cap on correctly with the bill of the cap facing forward.
Coach, talk about the competition in the North. It's always a grind. It's always a battle. This year, nothing's different.
Yeah, Norfolk, again, Keith Shoemate is one of the top recruiters in baseball, and I know his stint when he was with North Carolina A&T, he was a master recruiter and won a ton of games during his stint prior to coming back to the game as the head coach at Norfolk. So we know that Keith being in his second year, Norfolk's going to be really, really good this year. So we're not taking Norfolk lightly. J.P. Blanton and Delaware State has had some of the top teams in our entire conference. They were down last year, but we don't expect Del State to be down for long. And we have a second-year coach in Holloman, Coach Holloman at UMES, and they've brought in some JUCO guys. They brought in some guys that we happen to know about that are really good baseball players. So it's going to be a tough challenge for us this year. There's no doubt about it. As I told the guys just in a meeting a couple hours ago, that you don't win on paper. You got to go out there between the foul lines and get the job done. So we're anticipating a dogfight in 2019, and we wouldn't win it any other way, quite honestly, Keith. But with the talent we have, and just with the sheer focus that we've witnessed out of this team this past fall and first 3 weeks of the preseason, we're really looking forward to getting these guys on the field down in Georgia and kicking off this 2019 season.
Coach, this is a unique season where not used to being picked to finish first, and sometimes the attitude may be like one of the ex-coaches here used to say, give folks a case of the big head. How do you prevent that from happening within the team, and that you all stay focused, stay even keeled? As
we've had some tough practices because of that, Keith. Because often very good baseball teams or very, very good teams in any sport underachieve, and when you underachieve, typically you underachieve because you take things for granted, and you don't go out there and play the game from the beginning whistle till the end. And it's no different with baseball. When the guys showed up for their first practice this fall, that was one of the biggest, quite honestly, biggest challenges of the coaching staff, was to keep these guys focused and not have them get what we call full of themselves. And preseason is preseason. If we banked on what the preseason media said about this team a year ago, we wouldn't have even advanced, or wouldn't even have qualified for postseason based on what the preseason predictions were. So we know that preseason predictions are just what they are, preseason and predictions. But we like to at the end, have guys be recognized as all conference guys based on what they've done during the season. So we're really working hard, keeping the guys focused, not having the guys read the news clips, and just go out there and just do what they're capable of doing, and that is being a really good baseball team this season.
Coach Freed, once again, it's been a pleasure. And next week, it's on in Savannah. We get it started. Thanks so much, Coach, and we'll be talking all during the season.
Always my pleasure. Thanks, Keith.
Welcome.